guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Riders. We're back here at Walker Ford in Clearwater, Florida, and guess what? I have that long-standing pickup truck that Ford has had in their lineup for so many generations. It's this vehicle right here. This is a 2023 Ford F-150. This particular one is a Lariat trim, but before we get into this full-size pickup truck from Ford, let's talk about what's going on here. A lot of change going on the landscape in the full-size truck segment, especially when it comes to electrified vehicles, hybrid vehicles, and everything in between. Ford, though, knowing that they need to basically make a truck for everybody, is continuing their F-150 lineup. Now, of course, you're going to get the same great trim levels, this one being a Lariat trim, but there is hot competition from the other manufacturers, especially when you look at GMC with their Sierra and Toyota with the Tundra. So what I want to find out is, should you go still with an F-150, or should you go Tundra or Sierra? Let's go ahead, let's dive into our Area 51 Blue. That's what they call this color, Area 51 Blue F-150, and find out. Right off the bat, I like the way that this one is optioned. It's got a little bit higher trim level, but I like some of the darker accents on it. Now at the front of the business, you'll see with this generation what Ford is bringing with the lighting. A lot of people have compared it actually to the GMC Sierra, but you got your LED headlights. I like the way they do the daytime running lamps. And then down below, you not only have your fog lamps, but even more of that daytime running lamp, and we have metal painted front bumpers. I like that better than just a bunch of shiny chrome. Now, as we come across the front grille, simple, clean design. You have your horizontal slots, your Ford Blue badge, and then of course your forward-facing camera. And then working our way all the way down, you gotta have some tow hooks. So you got your two black tow hooks and a little bit more flat black. This is what I was telling you. I like the way that this one is optioned because it doesn't have a lot of blingy stuff all over it. You even have a forward-facing camera, which they hide so smartly in the base of that Ford badge. Now, as we rise up, great looking hood, nothing too over the top. You got these indentations which give it a lot of character, and it's easy to see from behind the wheel. Now, when we come around the bend, what are we working with wheel and tire setup on our Area 51 Blue Lariat? I'm digging these carbonized gray wheels. Simple 5-spoke design, nothing too over the top. I think they look just right. Let me know how you feel about the wheels with the color. That's a 20-inch wheel, and the tire is 275 on the width, 50 series sidewall. As we come down the fender, I like the way there's no flat black around the fender openings. You do get, and I'm gonna have Steven kind of swinging around, functional fender vents with the F-150 Lariat trim badge. You have, of course, your Area 51 Blue color match mirror caps with those 360-degree cameras and turn signals, color match door handles, stationary running board. And then working our way towards the rear, you'll notice that this has the FX4 off-road package. So Steven's gonna show off the shock absorbers. You can actually see the rear differential, which is cool. And I like the way that they route the exhaust, because on the Lariat trim, look at what it gives us, a nice polished stainless steel tip. Coming around to the back of the truck, just like up front, we got some nice LED elements in the lighting. This is an EcoBoost, so that should tell you right away what we're working with underneath the hood, but I'll show you a little bit more. We drop down, of course, you're gonna get all your great towing capacity, capability, spare tires tucked up out of the way. You got all your connections, easy to do. And then when it comes to the rear tailgate, nice soft release. This one doesn't have a bed liner. We need to slap a bed liner in here. I do like the way we have our power source, that home power source, easy to get to on the driver's side. But tons of room in the bed of this truck. But why don't we go ahead? It says EcoBoost. Let's go look under the hood and find out what the hell that means in this F-150. All right, guys, we got the hood popped. You do have your hood struts underneath the hood. They actually have a really tasteful engine cover, which is great. That EcoBoost name on there. What's underneath that engine cover? It's real easy. The 3.5-liter twin-turbo V6 pumping out 400 horsepower, 500 pound-feet of torque. It is mated to a 10-speed automatic transmission, 0 to 60 in about 5.3 seconds. Top speed is governed to 108 miles per hour. MPG's 18 in the city, 23 on the highway. The vehicle weighs 5,562 pounds and can tow 14,000 pounds. So I really like the way you have your choice. V8s, naturally aspirated engines. You got your small displacement EcoBoost, this EcoBoost, high output EcoBoost, and of course, you could go with your Power Boost setup, which is that hybrid setup. But I'm gonna go ahead, close that hood. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire up this EcoBoost F-150 and see it roll. All right, guys, we are inside this 2023 Ford F-150 Lariat trim. What's cool is that it has the sport appearance package, and that brings the darker elements to the exterior. Now, I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I've been thinking long and hard how I want to buy a truck. I need a truck. My great-grandfather had a truck. My grandfather had a truck. My dad had a truck. Hell, I was not only made, but I was born in the back of a pickup truck. I'm digging this F-150. How much is it? MSRP, the way that this one is optioned, is right at $70,000. Let's see what you get for the money. To the door panels. I do love the two-tone. That reddish brown with the white stitching looks great. You got some nice aluminum trim by the switchgear there. That metallic gray finish is fantastic. We got the optional B&O sound system. You got, of course, your Twinkie tray in the center for 6 Twinkies. And then you have a door pocket large enough to where you can get dinner for the whole family. Go to Boston Market, get the macaroni and cheese, the whole chicken, the whole shabam you could put in that door pocket, and a couple bottles of Diet Cola to wash it down. Now, going from the door panel to the dash, I'm loving the red trim in here. Looks classy. It's a reddish brown. That aluminum style looks fantastic. And then, of course, you're going to be greeted by that 12-inch infotainment system. Up top, we have our B&O sound system center speaker, but the system is very easy to use. Of course, you got your full navigation. We could go into features, zone lighting, towing. You got your Pro Trailer Assist. This is where you could back up and move the trailer so easily. Makes you look like a pro every time you're going to put the boat in the water. Let me throw it into reverse. Backup camera could be a little bit clearer on the resolution. I think that's where Toyota and GMC is coming out on top of this truck. But still nice to have the 360. Working our way down, we got all the knobs and buttons. 3 levels of ventilated seats, 3 levels of heated seats, dual climate control, and you got a 12 volt, and you got a home power source up front. So that's a nice touch. On the side, you have your little area here for the movie snacks. Good and plenty. Some jujubes, maybe some snow caps. 2 cup holders. And then, of course, this is going to control your 10-speed automatic. The only thing I'm going to zonk on this, I wish they would have made it red, that brownish red like everything else in here. But it is black. Soft touch material, the stitching, I like the two-tone. Open it up. You could put your whole VHS collection in there. 2 USB-As. There's actually a guy right now in Georgia who's trying to collect as many copies of the movie Titanic on VHS that he can, and he's given himself just 1 year to do it. He's up to 2,140 copies on VHS of Titanic. You can't fit all those in there, but you do have the bed of the truck, so still could put your VHS collection, put it in there. Seats, love the leather material. The piping looks classy with the stitching. Power adjustments for the passenger, power adjustments for the driver. And I don't know what the hell's going on here, but this is like the 5th vehicle that I've reviewed at Walker Ford, and this one doesn't have a sunroof either. 70 G's? They better take this truck out back and get me a Sawzall and freaking just cut me a hole in the freaking roof and put a piece of plexiglass in there, because 70 G's, that's a lot of money, no sunroof. But why don't you get over here to the business end, and I want to show you what's behind the wheel on this F-150. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. Just like with any other F-150, you do have your power adjustable pedals down there in the pedal box. We do have 3 levels of memory seat savings, so you could actually let 2 of your friends, if you have 2 friends, borrow your F-150 and they could have their own saved seat setting. That's where you're gonna make your seat adjustments, easy to get to. And then of course, the steering wheel, the leather, the white stitching. It's just a horn button, which I don't want to look at. I just want to put like a photo of something that's more appealing to look at, like a beach scene, or maybe a picture of my dog Oscar or something, because I don't like looking at that. It is manual tilting and telescoping steering wheel, but you have that nice large digital display. Plus you got the 4x4 in here, and when you go into your different modes, there you go through all of the different settings, and there's a lot that this F-150 is capable of. But I love the graphics, I love the fonts, very clear, and they look great. The only other thing missing for 70 grand is a head-up display. I want a head-up display in here. But why don't we go ahead, let's get in the back seat and see how your passengers are gonna enjoy this Lariat F-150. All right, guys, back seat time, and what's nice is they did a good job with bringing that two-tone on the door panels. The problem is, I wish they did a little bit more two-tone on the seats, just to really spruce up the interior. But you do have large pockets, easily put, I would say, about 5 moon pies back there. You got your 2 AC vents, 2 cup holders for super big gulps, USB 12 volt, the USBs are down here, USB-C, USB-A, and a home power source. And then plenty of room. I mean, if your passengers need more room, the only thing you could get is like a transit van, or maybe just get like a F-450 box truck and have them in the back of the box truck. If this pulls down, it's semi-comfortable. I mean, it's not like the best armrest, but at least you got a place for your 2 drinks. But it's that time. We got 400 horsepower. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go on throttle and see how it drives. All right, guys, we are inside this 2023 Ford F-150 Lariat trim. Right away, what I love about these trucks is just how comfy they are. The seats are great in here. I'm really digging the two-tone, and this 12-inch infotainment system all blended in very nicely to the center stack, has all the features that you need. And then when you go Lariat, you are getting, of course, the ventilated seats, the heated steering wheel, and the digital gauge cluster is a very, very nice touch in this truck. Now, of course, when you're sitting, everywhere you touch and feel, I really like what they did on this generation of the F-150, especially this particular one. It's just, there's a few touches that I would change. Like, I would like to see some of this reddish brown on the seats. Get rid of this horn button and change that up. But everything else, visibility wise, is great. Nice size side mirrors with all the safety features. And then the fact that you could get your EcoBoost, the 3.5 liter twin turbo V6. If you want it, you could get a 5 liter V8. You could get a 2.7 liter EcoBoost. So you have lots of different options when it comes to engines and how you want to have your F-150. And I think that's one of the biggest pluses about the platform. But the way they have everything arranged in here, it feels really comfy. And now we're going to go on throttle. So if you're ready, I'm ready. On throttle, here we go. Really gets up and going very quickly with the twin turbos. It cuts down on the turbo lag, and the 10-speed automatic in this thing is simply a joy. They really have tuned it so well to where it's not chasing through the gears, and having all that great information on the digital gauge display makes easy work of seeing what's going on with your truck. You got your row of coolant temp, oil pressure, all that kind of stuff. And then everything else is nice and large, and you could switch through a plethora of different screens and the information that it brings to you. When it comes to storage, you got plenty. You got your wireless charging, all the great connectivity, so they got you perfectly set there. Rolling away from the light, there's great throttle action, and you know, I guess the one thing it's missing is it does not have a sport mode. So there's no sport mode on this F-150, which to me is a bit of a bummer. It would be nice to have a sport mode, but the normal mode gets the job done. And the great news is doing all those other truck-like things like towing, going off-road, and if the clouds open up like they're about to here while you go on throttle, that is nice because you'll be able to have that setting within the system itself. But let's go on throttle, shall we? On throttle, here we go. 10-speed drops down and we are off and running. Smooth shifts from the transmission. And the truck is really buttoned up very, very well. They definitely have run these F-150s through their paces. Good feedback coming from the steering wheel. And the brakes feel phenomenal as well. But I love the 12-inch infotainment system and the fact that it's easy to see out and around with this truck. You can see oncoming traffic very easily. You got your infotainment system with the maps. You can have your Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, all wirelessly hooked up. And speaking of hookup, it's about that time. On throttle, here we go. Look at that, just gets the power to the ground very, very nicely. And then getting out onto the highway, you got plenty of power to pass. Even when you're towing things, you're gonna be just fine with this engine and transmission setup. And the fact that we have the FX4 off-road setup on this makes it even better. But I'm telling you, if you're not used to driving a full-size truck, this allows you to really navigate very, very easily. And as we're going down the highway at highway speeds, it's very smooth, comfortable. Those 20-inch wheels don't create a harsh ride. And there's not a bunch of road and wind noise, which is nice. But I'm hoping that this has been a good overall review of this F-150 Lariat trim. We're gonna get back to Walker Ford and wrap this one up. So I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, it's been another fun-filled day here at Walker Ford. Definitely gotta thank Frank Walker, Western Walker, and Tracy getting us access to this Area 51 Blue F-150 Lariat trim. Let me know what you think. Are you going Tundra? Are you going Sierra? Or do you like what Ford is bringing with this truck? Let me know down in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit the subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raised Rise family. Of course, none of this would be possible if it wasn't for Stephen Flood. Stephen Flood Photography. Follow him on Instagram. Give him a like some of his photos so that he could really get to those higher levels of photography nirvana. Thank you, Stephen, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.